If you're afraid to fail, then you're probably going to fail. Kobe Bryant. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm gonna skip my usual little intro thing after my intro. Kobe Bryant here passed away today, and that's sad news. I'm not gonna be able to do justice with his like an actual tribute with the like basketball montage and stuff like that. The best I can do is tell a story how he impacted my life in a good way. And it's really weird because it's very synchronistic in some ways, and in that aspect I'm gonna play you a video which is kind of going pretty big, and I'm gonna start by saying, this sources: Kobe Bryant daughter Gianna died in a helicopter crash. I think I also read that there's another player and maybe two more people that are in there, probably a pilot and someone else. So what I am seeing pretty interestingly with people who follow me know that there's a lot of things that I talk about. I mean, it's all over the place, but one of the things I do notice is the synchronicities that we find throughout whatever this is. And so this was about 3 years ago by Comedy Central. It's Legend of Chamberlain Heights, Kobe Bryant. I'm going to shut up and just play back this video.
Oh, shit! It's Kobe Bryant!
Help me.
Just pass me the trophies and we'll pull you out.
Pass.
These were Shaq's anyway.
Anyways, interestingly enough, what I noticed was this content is no longer available. I don't know if that's regarding something else, but maybe you can go ahead and click on it. It's on a link in my description box. Anyways, that was a weird find. We notice that weird predictive programming thing occurring all the time. But I mean, most people can do is just find any Kobe Bryant appearances where he might die another death, and if there isn't, well, then we can probably say, this is weird. But I'm going to share my story. I think I'll have to go back quite far, and just kind of like basketball was a big part of my life, and I grew up watching basketball with my older brother, and this was in the 80s. I was pretty young. The Celtics and Lakers rivalry were always something that we watched. We were Lakers fans, though, not Celtics fans, even though we loved Larry Bird and how he played. And then, later on, we see the emergence of Michael Jordan, and then just we loved watching Michael and just the dominance he displayed. And then there came Kobe Bryant with Shaq with the Lakers, and with Kobe, everyone was saying maybe he's gonna be the next Michael Jordan, maybe he's gonna be better. We won't know, we'll see. And we kept watching, and I could talk about basketball in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, maybe even 2010s all day, except I haven't really watched basketball the last 2-3 years. It's kind of weaned off away from sports. Hi, Kathy, how's it going? And so it's pretty interesting to see Kobe Bryant's growth, because he was very he had that eye of the tiger thing, right? He had that killer instinct mentality. I think he had to grow in some ways if he wanted to catch up to Jordan. If that was his expectation, he learned from him definitely, and wanted to get to that point where maybe he could surpass him in some ways. And I think he did that. He grew as a player where he thought he was good enough. He didn't need anybody else. He could win championships on his own. And then he realized he couldn't. And that was a critical time where I had moved in 2006, late 2006, to Boston from Seattle with really no money, no job, anything else. But in April of, I think it was April 29th of 2007, I met my wife, and I'm going to tell you the story of it, and it relates to all because of Kobe Bryant. And here it is. So I lived in Somerville, Massachusetts. I lived in a couple of different places, and in Boston, people, because of the basketball rivalry, right? People don't like the Lakers, and also it's Red Sox nation. So now, in 2007, I wanted to watch Kobe Bryant in the playoffs. He was going against the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns was actually one of my favorite teams that year because he had Steve Nash, Mari Stoudemire, Sean Marion, Raja Bell, and a good cast of players on that team. But Kobe Bryant, in that, I think it was in 2006, he scored 81 points in a game, second highest points ever, and he pretty much kind of just worked his way to get the Lakers into the playoffs. They had a horrible record, but there's a 4-game streak where he went 65, 50, 60, and 50. And that was pretty amazing. But, watching him try to get his team to the playoffs was awesome. He got crushed, of course. But now here's the thing. So I wanted to watch his games. The TV at our place was gone, broken. Someone moved out or something happened. But anyways, we didn't really have something to watch TV with. So I was out going to different bars to see if I could watch the Lakers game in near Boston, which is not easy. So I went into numerous bars, and I asked if, and they're all playing the Red Sox games. Red Sox was playing the Lakers that day, and it was like the last game of, where they're at New York against the Yankees, and this is when they were like 15-6 or 16, or 15-8 or 16-8. So they were doing pretty good, and if you don't know, they went on to have the best record in the, or tie for the best record in the American League, National League. They beat everyone. They won the World Series for the first time, and broke the curse and stuff like that. So that was a fun year, and the Celtics were horrible that year. But after that year, when the Lakers were doing pretty good, I think Lakers went out for a trade to get. No, maybe they didn't get anyone yet. I think no, they did. I think they got who's that guy? He power forward center guy, Paul Gasol. Because Kobe knew he needed help to get past some of these good teams, and when Boston acquired Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen with the big three with Paul Pierce, 2007 Boston Red Sox won the World Series. 2008. The big three with the Celtics won the championship over the Lakers. So, all this sports drama is stuff that I like watching. I was involved, and I still remember it. It's pretty cool in that aspect. But anyways, I went from one bar to the next bar to the next bar all across Somerville. No one wanted to change the channel from a Red Sox game to a Lakers playoff game, mind you, where the Celtics, they were so horrible, they didn't come close to the playoffs. And I was like, well, shoot, I don't think I'm gonna ever watch the playoff game. And I think the game was already playing because I kept going in bars and saying, "Could you play the playoff?" Like I didn't say Lakers game because I knew, that might be something bad. But most people won't know that like the playoffs game, who's playing. So I said playoff game. They go, yeah, sure. One place did it. I think out of 8 or 9 bars, one place it was Johnny D's, and they had one TV actually playing Red Sox game, but they had another TV that was just kind of playing just like something weird, random. I don't know what it was, but I asked them if they could change that TV to the basketball playoff game, and they did. So I stayed, I ate, I drank, got had a couple of beers in me. And then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of people came, and because it's where they usually play jazz, and a whole bunch of artists come and play, bands, and so they had like a salsa night thing. And at that point, I was drunk, and I was like, I remember taking salsa lessons. I also took a lot of other like Eastern swing, Western swing, Lindy Hop, whatever. I couldn't remember what I was dancing, but I thought I was dancing salsa. I could have been dancing a mix of salsa and swing dancing. Who knows? But anyways, I danced. That's where I met my current wife, where I have 2 kids. And had Kobe Bryant not been someone I was kind of seeing if he could get his team to the championships and win it all by himself. I mean, he didn't have any notable, aside from Lamar Odom, but who wasn't that like a really great player, but good enough player to actually take it to the championship level. And well, he didn't make it. And but his attempt to do that, I wanted to see if he could do it, and I just wanted to watch him play. So if it wasn't for Kobe Bryant, I wouldn't have gone in bars in Somerville, which is close to Boston, to ask bars to switch to have a TV watch the Lakers playoff game as opposed to a Red Sox game that was playing, a regular season Red Sox game against the Yankees, which is a big rivalry. I mean, it's like, when you ask girls out, you have to be brave enough, and I think that was the quote of the day: if you're afraid to fail, then you're probably going to fail. So when you're asking women out, you get no's a lot. You go, no thanks, or I'm with somebody, etc. So there's a lot of failure, but you won't know unless you try. And instead of just trying with like weak, mediocre intent, you really have to put forward something of worth. And anyways, so I danced a few times and talked with this girl named Erica and got her number. And I think I did the I think I waited 3 days, those culture things, to give her a message, see if she wanted to go out somewhere, hang out, eat. I don't know. Anyways, we did that and just get to know her. She gets to know me, go out on us. If that was good, I'd wait 3 days again, and I'd say, hey, that was great. Would you want to go out again? I had a good time, type of thing. So that just continued. And we got hooked up. We eventually got married, and to this present day, this is where I'm at, and it's because of Kobe Bryant. I've never met Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant never met me. He probably doesn't know who I am or ever did. But he had an impact on me as far as I wanted to see what he wanted to accomplish, and what he could accomplish. And despite all the things about his personal life and things like that, it was purely basketball related and growth related. And his personal stuff, he had to fix his personal stuff on his own terms. I don't know anything about his personal life. I think a lot of people who will talk about Kobe Bryant, who knew him personally, talking about him, about his personal traits in life, and people who watched his basketball games, people who grew up watching him, and all these highlight videos, all this stuff. that's all can be out there. This is just something, a story of how someone like Kobe Bryant can affect one's life for the better, right? I am happy with my wife and my kids and the life I'm living even now, so I think there we go. I think it's important to share this story, and it's a big thank you to Kobe Bryant. If he's able to hear this somehow, some way, in some form, or maybe his wife or children in the future who watch this video, but got to see this growth in Kobe Bryant after I met my current wife. He still had a career going. He still had his life going with his family and things like that. But that fire to get to the top, knowing you have to be a little bit humbled to get those people around you to reach that same goal, not to be afraid of failure, but just strive whatever they can to get there, but not really berate them. Have to be a leader in whatever way you can be in order to get your teammates involved to meet that same potential type of thing. So you have to be humble in some ways, and he had to reach that humbling by failing all the time, knowing he couldn't get there just on his own. Nobody can get there on their own. So that's all I want to say. Just the thank you for someone like Kobe Bryant. Whoever, there are people out there, and that's why I always like sports, is just someone who really wanted to become the best that they can be at whatever they love doing. And it's great watching that happen. Sometimes it's horrible. They just want to, whatever that their motivations are, but we see it all the time. We want to be better, and whatever we want to do as well, by that inspiration. And a lot of the same idealism is always out there for anyone who wants to become better and change for the better. And there's a growing curve. You think you know it all. You studied it all. You've watched videos. You read books. You spent hours and hours practicing and just whatever it is that you do that you want to focus on and get better at and achieve. That's all going to be the same throughout, and hopefully that inspires people somewhere else, and somehow that positiveness, the inspiration of trying to be good and creative and all of this stuff gets people involved in some way. And it doesn't have to be any particular thing. My whole experience following certain things, Kobe Bryant was one of them at that time, led me to the life that I have now. And it's totally unrelated to basketball, but basketball was something that was a big part of my life, even though I wasn't looking at a career in basketball. It was just the love of the sport and the love of those who love playing the sport as well. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say. It's a big thank you to people like Kobe Bryant, where it may not have to do anything specifically with him, but it's related. It's some synchronicity out there, and hopefully there's going to be more people out there that can inspire people, and they have these types of stories to tell, and it's not bad stories, it's good stories, great stories. And I don't know what more to say. I just think it's pretty incredible when you think about it. And I love telling this story because in itself the story isn't that great, right? It's not like a really awesome stories, some weird stuff and cool stuff happening. But it's just one of those things where, you would, if you really think about it, to to be able to watch people who understand sports and sports rivalries, being in Boston, wanting to watch the Lakers playoff game when the Celtics didn't even make it to the playoffs, where Red Sox game was playing against their rivalry, the Yankees, at the same time, and going into bars, asking them to change the channel to watch a Lakers playoff game. I mean, the odds of that, I mean, I think if it's however many bars I went to ask them, it was at least 6, maybe up to 10. 6 and 1 out of 6, 1 out of 10. Anyways, it's still a pretty low percentage. And that happening, and coincidentally that night, that same bar where they did turn the channel, they had a salsa night thing. And for my wife's side, she wasn't even planning on going, but she was intent on meeting someone, hopefully have a relationship and all that stuff. And she found me, I found her, and she knows about Kobe Bryant too. And I don't think she's a big basketball fan. So she knows about the story of how we met, because how I was there because of Kobe Bryant, and she was there because of one of her friends and stuff like that. So very interesting how things end up becoming. John C. Oddity, just look up the news, you'll find it. There's also an interesting video that I showed at the beginning, so worth the look. Anyways, I didn't want this video to take too long, but I just wanted to share that story in a dedicated format. I've told this story maybe 4 or 5 times before on live streams, but this one because unfortunately of Kobe Bryant's passing away, I just wanted to rehash that story one more time and just say a thank you to Kobe Bryant. And thank you very much for joining me and listening to it. And I'll see you guys later.